Good afternoon everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Maz and today I'm in Bedminster. And in today's video I'll be driving this Jaguar XJ. A quick overview: the Jaguar XJ was launched in 1968, XJ standing for Experimental Jaguar, and it was basically Jaguar's flagship saloon up until 2019. So it started off with 6 and 12 cylinders with the Series 1, 2, 3 and XJ40 and X300. From the X308 onwards it was changed to a V8 known as the AJ V8. And then a V6 did turn up later on with the X350. After that came the X358. And finally this, the X351, which was launched in 2009 and was in production up until 2019. And ever since there hasn't been a new XJ at all, though there might be a new one since Jaguar is going more upmarket and they have a 4-door GT car currently planned. So starting from the front, this is a pre-facelift. So it's got the older style Jaguar growler and it's got the bi-xenon headlights. Just like an E-Type, it's got the signature bonnet bulge. From this angle the grille does look a bit Bentley-esque if you ask me. Coming around to the side, this has the 20-inch wheels, again chrome here. And if I step back a bit, the silhouette is very coupe-ish, and this was also designed by Ian Callum, the same designer who did various Aston Martins and various other Jaguars from this period, including this one. Not obvious on this black car, but this panel here is always gloss black. This is to make the roofline look like it's floating. Coming around to the back now, it's got vertical tail lights, a very unique feature to the XJ as opposed to the other Jaguars. This earlier car uses trapezoidal tailpipes, with the later ones going to oval shaped. On the later cars you get a J LED here, whereas on this later one it's just 3 stripes. And of course you just press this button here to pop the boot. And looking inside you're greeted with this Jaguar script. This being a pre-facelift, it uses the older style font. And looking inside you do get a very big boot. Unfortunately it's only a saloon boot, so the access to it is a bit limited. That being said, if you do get kidnapped in one of these, all you have to do is just pull this and you're free. Normally I go to the front, but because this is an XJ I have to check out the back as well. So coming inside you do get this very nice wood. What I don't like is it has a gloss lacquer over it. Personally I prefer mine to be open pore. This particular car has the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. On later Jaguars they swap over to Meridian, and interestingly this has the Japanese style door lock next to the door handle, but I think on this one it looks very nice. Normally I'm not a fan of having the locks here. And showing its age, ashtray. Sitting in the back now, and I can really stretch here. The leather in here is much softer and smoother. There's lots of Alcantara above on the headlining, and of course an armrest, a massive armrest. This one is, oh, Pokemon cards. Ooh. That's a surprise. We'll leave that as it is. And in the back, some baby wipes and cup holders. Another quirk is that the XJ has Jaguar leapers embossed on the headrests, both at the rear and the front. Check out these grab handles, they're lined in leather, and of course they're dampened. Unfortunately there's no through loading in here. That being said, it's probably better to use it as 2 seats in the back because you get this massive center console and this massive transmission tunnel. These air vents kind of look like eyes. You also get dual zone climate control here, AC, and 2 12-volt sockets, though this one is missing one of its covers, and of course heated and ventilated seats. Coming to the front, again it's got the similar window switches as seen on other Jaguars of its time. This car has memory seats. Coming inside now, you got this twin textured steering wheel, leather on the inside and wood on the outside. You're greeted by not 1, not 2, but 3 leapers. You also get leather on the dash, and this glove box, instead of having a button, it has a sensor. These seats are very, very soft, and again, fake suede on the headlining and even on the sun visors, and dressing room like lighting on each side of the vanity mirror. A steering wheel is bespoke to the XJ, and you also get a rising gear selector as seen on other Jaguars. And one thing I really like is this analog clock between the 2 vents. And I forgot to mention, even though this is a luxury car, there is a sporty feel inside, especially with this Reaver hoop as seen on other Jaguars, but on this one it's wood. Here's what the dials look like on this pre-facelift. I do think they've aged fairly well if they weren't so pixelated. These buttons, the coating on top is starting to deteriorate, but this is an issue on other cars as well, including the S-Class. Heated wheel, but that's on the other side, it's hidden from view. And this is what the infotainment system looked like on this earlier car. There's some bezel here, it doesn't fill up the entire cutout, and it's very pixelated and very, very laggy. One thing I really like is that it has massaging seats, which was on that mode. Let's start that. And while you can't really see it, but the backrest feels like the lumbar support is adjusting on its own, which does feel very, very nice, and I really don't mind having that on my F-Type. Not that the F-Type was that type of car. Also, I'm not sure if you can hear it on camera, but the whirring noise sort of resembles a cat purring. Again, you got your usual cup holders here. What looks like a small area on where the smoker's pack would have been, like an ashtray. Lots of chrome around. There's even chrome around the parking brake. And if I press this button here, this pops open. You do get a place for your aux and a cover for your 12-volt socket. One thing I don't like is that this door pocket does not look big enough to hold in a bottle. Most modern cars have a diagonal grab handle so that it makes way for a big bottle potentially. But that's really me being pedantic. Again, you can choose what you want to display here on the digital screen. But on this earlier car it is very, very limited. Most of the time it just looks like this, but on later ones you do get more options. Okay, so that's the exterior and interior done now, so let's see what this car is like to drive. So, yep, it's got the rotary gear selector. Let's set this up to my preferred position. Yep, that's about right. And let's head over. So from first impressions, this being the 3-litre diesel, Jaguar have done a very good job of not making the diesel clutter seemingly obvious. No one's really letting me out. Well, here's a small opportunity. After all, this is the largest Jaguar in the range. Well, up until 2019 when this car was discontinued. This being a pre-facelift, it only has 6 gears as opposed to 8. Oh, it's on manual mode. There we go, back to auto. Probably due to having fewer gears, when I tap on the accelerator, it does go a bit jerky. It's not as smooth as the 8-speeder on other Jaguars that I've driven. But once again, just listen to how quiet it is in here. This particular car has a twin textured steering wheel, so personally I prefer it to be all leather. And I do really like the digital screen you get for the instrument binnacle. And I also like how only the surrounding area of the speedo and the rev counter light up. That's a really nice touch. Due to the age of this particular vehicle, the buttons are a bit sticky. That's just what happens when the finishing that car manufacturers put on top of their plastics to make them feel softer starts to deteriorate. Oh, and while we're here, let's open this. That's better. So currently on a 40. Yep, this car is basically doing just fine. That's the back one open now. Oh. That sunroof is really, really nice, especially with this heat wave that we've been having. Let's just close that for now in case of wind noise. There. This particular car has a heated steering wheel as well, but the button to operate it is very, very flimsy. Okay, looks like we're leaving Bristol now. But we're still on a 40 zone. Steering wheel is very, very light. Oh, while we're here, let's just test out the manual mode. So okay, it really sounds like a diesel once it hits 4,000. We're on a roundabout now. Let's put it back into drive for now. Just realized the AC was on. That is a very quiet AC as well. On the other Jags, the AC is really, really noisy. Due to this being a luxury car, the seats have very minimal bolster. So if you're going to chuck this around a roundabout, you might slip off. We're on a 50 zone and the car is still doing just over 1,000 RPM. Yeah, the steering is a bit too light for my liking. Let's check the gears again. So that's gear 5. Yep, only a 6-speeder in this earlier model. I still advise, if you can, try and find an 8-speeder, as they will be a little bit quieter on the motorway and less jolty on stop-start traffic. Oh, very lovely weather here. So town driving and A roads. Haven't really driven a car similar to this category, so I can't really do any comparisons. Visibility on the back is actually quite weak, but that's the same with all the other Jaguars, modern ones to say the least. But in the case of the XJ, the housing for the higher level brake light does eat in a little bit more, because it's mounted on the bottom of the rear window as opposed to the top. The XJ was discontinued in 2019. They were going to make an EV version, but then the then CEO Thierry Ballot axed it, despite being so close to being finished. Now that he's stepped down and Jaguar is going more upmarket and they have a 4-door GT planned, maybe we might get another XJ, or at least a replacement to the XJ. Okay, let's do a U-turn now. Oh, yep, this one has a reversing camera, but this earlier car has a very, very pixelated one. Once again, that's one of the benefits of the later car. But this car, for its size, is surprisingly maneuverable. Thank you. Okay. Since we got some empty roads now, let's put this into dynamic, dials glow red, and floor it. This car may be an S-Class rival, but I doubt an S-Class drives like this. But yeah, you can really, really throw this thing on a B road. Not that most XJ buyers will do such thing, or maybe they will. But yes, even the 6-speeder at national speed limit is doing about 1500 RPM. And back, and put this back into normal mode. Steering, again, light, but relatively direct. Not a like-for-like comparison, but I remember the C43, the steering felt even more vague than this. So this car was brilliant as a luxury car. This car was brilliant cruising down Bristol. It was brilliant in traffic. It was brilliant on the A road. It was brilliant on the turns. It was brilliant on the bends, and it was certainly brilliant overall. Yeah, this is basically a Swiss Army knife on wheels. This car does all things brilliantly. Though I would be curious to see what the later model is like to drive. So let's get back to the compound and finalize this video. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me review this Jaguar XJ. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to stay up to speed, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers!